Hi everyone, and welcome to this edition of Seatrade Cruise Tech Talks, which is all about predictive power management. In this episode, we'll be discussing how predictive power management can enhance not only operational efficiency, but also guest satisfaction. I'm Ian Richardson, CEO and co-founder of the Iceway, and Seatrade Global's Technology Ambassador, and I'm joined by Michelle Potorski, VP and General Manager of Procell Professional. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, it's great having you with us. So, why don't we start by maybe you can introduce yourself, what your role is at Duracell, and also tell us a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today.
Great. So my name is Michelle Potorski. I work for Duracell and I lead their professional division, which includes Procell batteries and also Procell InSite, which we'll be talking about today. So I've been with the company for about 7 years, and I've been in this role for 2 years. And the company has a really long legacy of providing the best energy solutions and had great history in battery management, energy management, and we really understand battery operated devices inside and out. And that has led us to our newest innovation called Procell InSite.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, well, maybe we can start with talking a little bit about some of the power management challenges in cruise. What's the scope of the problem as you see it?
Sure. So in cruise, there are many, many battery operated devices. So let's take an average ship of about 3,000 cabins, and we estimate that there's over 40,000 batteries on board powering those devices. So everything from the door locks when you go into a room with a touchless system, to the safes where you might put your valuables, to hand sanitizers and soap dispensers, paper towel dispensers, anything in a touchless bathroom. Those all take batteries. And what we noted is that there's really no good way to monitor those batteries and understand when they need to be changed. So it leads to usually two behaviors. One is that the operations staff may change them on a schedule, which allows them to avoid any concerns from a customer experience standpoint. But in that situation, they're throwing away batteries which have maybe sometimes as much as 70% of the life left in them. So they're doing this on a schedule, they're spending labor, and they're spending money on batteries that they may not need to change out yet. But if they don't do that, they risk going too long and the battery dying and the device not working, and that could cause a very bad customer experience.
Right, yeah, so it's really getting that balance right between guest satisfaction and operational efficiency.
Exactly. They want to make sure that you will do everything that you can to avoid a negative customer experience. In some situations, what could happen if the battery, for instance, in the door to the cabin was out, it means they couldn't get into the room, couldn't get into reach their belongings, and they may be sitting outside their room for up to 45 minutes or even longer while the operations staff comes in and gets them access to that room again. So it's possibly a very negative experience. So they really want to do everything that they can to avoid that. But then on the flip side, right now, there's a lot of guesswork involved in it. And it really leads to not operating as efficiently as possible, both from a scheduling and staffing standpoint from the operations team, and then also just a cost standpoint and spending dollars on batteries that didn't need to be changed out yet.
Okay, so tell us about Procell InSite. What exactly is it, and what are the benefits?
Absolutely. So Procell InSite is a wireless device management system. And the way it works, it's a very simple retrofit, which makes every battery operated devices, even a dated device, it makes it a smart device. So it connects them and in real time monitors the device and sends information back to a centralized dashboard. So at any given time, you'll know at every battery all across the ship when it needs to be changed. So where it is, it shows battery gauging. So it shows exactly where the battery is in its usable life. And it proactively sends a flag when it's getting dangerously low and the battery needs to be changed out. So again, what it does, it provides an opportunity to address and protect guest satisfaction.
Hmm.
So you could, again, if that guest has a bad experience, if they're locked out of their room, we know that over 40% of guests, when they have a negative experience, they post about it, they tell people. And one bad review could lead to 30 lost bookings. So this translates into quite a bit of lost revenue. And you want to do everything you can to avoid that. So it protects guest satisfaction. It increases operational efficiency. So as we were talking about earlier, the time and labor that it takes to go around and do these frequent battery checks and change out the battery on a schedule, this is
Mm.
very cumbersome. And cruise line spends over $100,000 in annual hours fleet wide replacing batteries. So it is a significant drain on labor, and it is something that could be much, much more efficient. And then lastly, it's better from a sustainability perspective because, many cruise lines are making commitments to reduce waste and adopt more eco-friendly practices. And
Mm.
optimizing battery replacement really helps to meet those sustainability goals. And it also improves brand perception among those eco-conscious travelers. So just think about the unnecessary waste that proactive battery replacement is causing. And it creates a situation when there's more batteries in the landfills, there's larger carbon footprint, and it really just increased waste. A typical cruise ship, with 40,000 batteries on board generates tons of waste by discarding them, with, again, sometimes up to 70% of the battery power still unused.
Mm.
So this is a really great opportunity to reduce the number of batteries that are thrown out unnecessarily and really meet those sustainability goals.
Sounds great. And now, listeners to this podcast will already know about the cruise environment, it
Mhm.
presenting quite unique challenges. Can you explain a little bit about how you've adapted the product for cruise ships specifically?
So we have, created Procell InSite. It's a wireless device management solution, and as we thought about its applicability on cruise lines, we said this is really the perfect environment because there's so many devices and such a high demand on cruise ships. So there's a high drain on these devices, and it's so important to get it right. So what we've done, we've enhanced the functionality. So it provides predictive alerts, again, when those door lock batteries need to be replaced or other devices. So it ensures that because they take away the risk of the battery failing prematurely, it protects that guest experience, ensures the guests can always have access to their cabins and always have the best user experience. We've also created a situation where the dashboard, again, it can be centrally reviewed at any time. These different customized views, depending if you're looking at one ship, if you're looking at a fleet of ships. But it is created so it's very simple, it's intuitive, and it can alert the operations team when the batteries need to be replaced. It can also give them a sense of how battery operated devices are performing. So if there's an outage on the device, it will flag that as well. And then lastly, from a sustainability standpoint, we not only have less batteries because they're changing them less often. And by the way, we had started with the Procell battery
Mm.
being one of the longest lasting batteries. So that was our first step. And then with Procell InSite, it actually makes sure that you can use the battery to the furthest possible extent and usable life of that battery. And then we also, for cruise lines, have a recycling program. So we have a very simple battery collection. It's a simple bin that we take when the turnaround happens for the cruise lines and for the ships. And it's a very seamless way for us to take the battery and then recycle that battery in kind of a very closed loop recycling process. And this is an excellent solution for cruise line. It really
Mm.
makes it a seamless experience overall.
Okay, yeah, I was going to talk a little bit about the sustainability story
Mhm.
of it. So maybe you can elaborate a little bit about that. You talked about the closed loop battery collection and recycling. How does that work?
Okay, so from a sustainability standpoint, first thing that we do is create the longest lasting battery. And then with Procell InSite, we're able to use the battery to the full extent of its life. And then with the recycling program, we're able to take the product back, bring it back, and extract the usable materials. So we filter that back into our production process. It's a very streamlined process, and it helps us maximize the impact of the battery. It helps us use the materials to the greatest extent. And it helps the cruise lines and our partners meet their sustainability goals overall.
That sounds great. I mean, and the alternative, I assume, is a lot of these batteries go into landfill, or they're just sort of lesser efficient recycling pathways.
Absolutely, they go into landfills, and what we know, again, in an average cruise line, this InSite program can help reduce waste by tens of thousands of pounds annually, which considerably contributes to their sustainability goals. So it really makes a big impact.
Fantastic. So looking ahead, maybe you can tell us a little bit about what your vision, or what Procell's vision for 2025 is and beyond.
We have a very, I would say, innovative approach to battery management and device management. We believe that intelligent power solutions will further improve as IoT and battery technology advances. And we will continue to evolve with that. So we see a world where innovation like Procell InSite really helps to enhance the guest experience overall, enhance operational efficiency, and enhance sustainability. And as the technology evolves, our vision for how we evolve with it is very advanced. The sensors that we place, the retrofit for Procell InSite, it gives us a tremendous amount of access to data. And data is so important to our cruise line partners because it gives them insights on how to be more operationally efficient, how to even get ahead of the curve from a sustainability standpoint, but also how to further delight the guests and how to further increase that guest experience and enhance the guest experience. There's so much they can learn from the data that we're able to collect through these sensors. So not only battery gauging, but things like heat maps and understanding usage patterns of different devices and different parts of the ship. It really can be quite eye-opening and mind-opening. So we want to continue to be there to help drive that kind of efficiency and also to help them really further elevate that guest experience. We also really want to continue to collaborate with the industry to meet their goals. So we have had a rich collaboration with CLIA, and we will continue to do that to understand how we can further innovate to meet the goals of our partners. We want to make sure that we listen and we share our vision of a fully predictive ecosystem for these very sustainability conscious cruise operations. So we are actively working with a number of cruise lines on this vision, and our installation plans for InSite is the first step, but really the future is so rich for what we can then do together.
That sounds fascinating. So do you have any final thoughts of what you'd like our listeners to take away in understanding Procell?
So Procell InSite is an exciting innovation which is really focused on elevating the guest experience, enhancing guest satisfaction, driving operational efficiency, and also sustainability. And Procell is fully committed to leading the power technology that supports the cruise industry's unique needs. I would also encourage listeners to reach out to Procell or visit Procell InSite. The website is www.procell.com/insight to learn more about this innovation. And I also invite industry stakeholders to explore pilot programs, partnerships, and all the content that we have on the site, but also reach out to us and we can help further demonstrate InSite's impact specifically for you.
Fantastic. So if our listeners feel inspired after today's Tech Talk, they can reach out to Procell or visit the website and learn more all about Procell InSite and what it's doing for the industry. All that's left to do now really is just to thank you, Michelle. It's been a really fascinating discussion. I've really enjoyed learning more about Procell InSite. I'm sure our listeners have too, so thanks very much.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity, and it was an excellent experience. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Tech Talks from the Iceway and Seatrade Cruise. I hope you took something from it, and I very much look forward to seeing you next time.